in 1 for a hyperbola x squared by 9 minus y squared by 16 equal to 1. Find the length of the transverse axis and the conjugate axis. So we need to remember the standard form of a hyperbola is x squared by a squared minus y squared by b squared equal to 1. This is form A. So comparing it with this, we get a squared. This is the first form. So a squared is 9 and b squared equal to 16. So length of the transverse axis is given by 2a. That will be 2 into 3, which is 6. And length of the conjugate axis. Length of the conjugate axis is given by 2b, that is 2 into 4, which is 8. Coming to another question which is similar to this. This is the first type. The second type, 9y squared minus 4y squared equal to 36. For this also you need to find the length of the latus rectum. So for this hyperbola, find the length of the latus rectum. We need to remember the standard form of a hyperbola will be y squared. So this becomes y squared by 4 minus x squared by 9 equal to 1, dividing by 36. So it's of the second form, y squared by b squared minus x squared by a squared equal to 1. So in this case, a squared is 9, so a is 3, and b squared is 4, so b is 2, and length of the latus rectum is given by 2b squared by a. So that becomes 2 into 4 by 3, which is, no, this will be of the form, the other form is y squared by a squared. Y squared by a squared minus x squared by b squared equal to 1. So this is y squared by a squared. The second form is y squared by a squared minus x squared by b squared equal to 1. So a is 2 and b is 3. Please note the correction, and length of the latus rectum will be 2b squared by a, that is 2 into 9 by 2, and that is 9. So remember the first form is x squared by a squared minus y squared by b squared equal to 1, and the second form is y squared by a squared minus x squared by b squared equal to 1. So a squared is always the first term. Now coming to the next problem for the hyperbola. Y squared by 9 minus x squared by 27 equal to 1. Find the foci. The first thing what you need to do is you need to identify the forms. So again, comparing it with y squared by a squared minus x squared by b squared equal to 1. A squared is 9, so a is 3, and b squared is 27, so b is root 27, or this is root of 9 into 3, which is 3 root 3, and the foci are given by 0 plus or minus ae. So you need to calculate, because it's of the second form, it's 0 plus or minus ae, and the relation connecting a and b is b squared equal to a squared into e squared minus 1 for a hyperbola. So I get 27 equal to 9 into e squared minus 1. That will give you 27 equal to 9 e squared minus 9, or 36 equal to 9 e squared, or e is root of 36 by 9, which is 6 by 3, which is 2. So eccentricity is 2, and your ae becomes 3 into 2, which is 6. So your foci are 0 plus or minus 6. for this. Okay, the next question will be something like this. For the hyperbola, y squared minus x squared equal to 1, find the eccentricity. So before I start, just note that this is a rectangular hyperbola. What is a rectangular hyperbola? A hyperbola where b equal to a, because this is y squared by 1 minus x squared by 1 equal to 1. So b equal to a here. So it's of the second form. So a squared is 1, b squared is 1. So a is 1 and b is 1. And your eccentricity is given by this equation, b squared equal to a squared into a squared minus 1. So I get 1 equal to 1 into a squared minus 1. That is 1 equal to a squared minus 1. So e squared equal to 2 or e equal to root 2. We take the positive value for the eccentricity. Now the next question goes something like this. For the hyperbola, we have to find a number of things here. X squared by 16 minus y squared by 9 equal to 1. Find the foci, vertices, length of the transverse and conjugate axis, and length of the latus rectum. So again, it's of the first form. So a squared is 16, b squared is 9, and we first calculate eccentricity using the formula b squared equal to a squared into a squared minus 1. So we get 9 equal to 16 a squared minus 16. So 25 equal to 16 a squared. So e will be 5 by 4. And we look at AE. So AE will be 4 into 5 by 4, which is 5. So your foci, it's of the first form. So foci are plus or minus 5, 0. Vertices will be plus or minus A0. That is plus or minus 4, 0. Then you have length of the transverse axis is given by 2a, that is 2 into 4, which is 8. Length of the conjugate axis is 2 into 3, which is 6. And you have the length of the latus rectum is given by 2b squared by a. So substituting, you get 2 into 9 by 4. That will be 9 by 2. Again, a similar question for this hyperbola. 49y squared minus 16x squared equal to 784. Find all these which we have just calculated. So dividing by 784, we get y squared by 16 minus x squared by 49 equal to 1. So it's of the second form. In any case, a squared is 16, b squared is 49. So we substitute b squared equal to a squared into a squared minus 1. So 49 equal to 16 into e squared minus 1. So substituting, you will get e as root 65 by 4. So your AE will be plus or minus, AE will be just root 65. So your foci, for the second form, so it's 0 plus or minus AE, 0 plus or minus root 65, then length of the transverse axis is 2 into 4, which is 8. Length of the conjugate axis will be 2 into 7, which is 14. Your vertices are, it's of the second form. So vertices are 0 plus or minus a, that is 0 plus or minus 4. Length of the latus rectum is 2b squared by a, that is 2 into b squared is 49 by 4, and that is 49 by 2. So I'll stop here for now, and we will continue at the next session. On your part, you need to practice all this with a pen and paper. So we have basically worked out simple problems on hyperbola, how to find the vertices, the length of the latus rectum, the foci, length of the transverse axis, and length of the conjugate axis. Thank you.